I'll tell you what, fellas, it's cold in my basement. It's nowhere even close to being cold enough for a scarf, but I don't care. Let's go, Birds. Here we go. Preview for the playoffs, baby. Let's go. We're talking playoffs. Let's take a look at this Eagles and Bears game, break it down a little bit more than yesterday, and I just want to talk about, first, the confidence in the locker room. You have Malcolm Jenkins out on social media putting up these videos. Jason Kelce talking really, really confidently as well. Zach, the confidence in this locker room right now is amazing. And I know that there's a line that can be crossed to the point where it goes from, okay, are they too confident? Do they think this is going to be easy? I know it can cross that line, but I don't think it's there. I think they are using their experience and what they went through last year to just let the locker room know, fellas, we can easily do this, and everyone is buying into that. I'd rather take an overconfident bunch than a team that doesn't think that they'd be able to do it any day of the week. But I praise that locker room for really coming together and saying, fellas, we can do this. And they all know and believe that they can. And that will help this team take the step that they need to going into an away building for a playoff game. So let's dissect this one. All right, so the first one's pretty simple here on what we need to do, and it comes with the trenches. We need to win both sides of the line. Our offensive line is going to have a hard task in keeping Khalil Mack to reasonable numbers, all right? But we did it with Aaron Donald, who's arguably the MVP of the league and definitely the best defensive player in the league. We did it with J.J. Watt, who is a beast and a monster as well. But I will say Vaitai struggled on the other side with Clowney in the same game. And Clowney got some good shots on Nick Foles. I do have to admit that. But we've done it against Aaron Donald. We've done it against J.J. Watt. I know it's not going to be an easy task. I'm not saying it's going to be easy. But the way Lane Johnson has been playing, the way that this offensive line as a whole has been playing, I'm pretty sure we can dial up a game plan on how we're going to stop Khalil Mack. I know he's going to feast. I know he's going to be a beast. But we need to hold him to numbers that are reasonable. That's our goal. Keep him to reasonable numbers. And I said he's going to feast. He's going to attempt to feast. I mean, he's elite. He's an elite player. And they have other pieces on that line. Listen, that defense is serious as hell. They got great players all around the board on every single position on the defensive side of the football. I know that. But when it comes to trenches and it comes to our offensive line, we need to win that battle. And that goes with our defensive line. The pressure in the quarterback. Fletcher Cox, Michael Bennett, those two together, come on. They have been literally unstoppable this month. You throw in Brandon Graham and Chris Long. We rushed the quarterback. We have been producing turnovers defensively, and it starts with our defensive line getting to the quarterback. It's like we play similar styles. So the trenches is one, and that brings me to the coaching. Doug P. Nagy. You got friendship involved. You have Nagy talking to the media about how he was watching the Super Bowl last year with his wife and turned to her and said, damn, Doug P. is ballsy when he threw the Philly special play in there. They need to, and when I say they, I mean the Eagles, as a coaching staff, need to come up with a game plan that's better than the Bears. I know that sounds stupid, that sounds simple, but Doug P. has to outcoach Nagy. Because when you look at their offense, it's not a powerhouse offense. Trubisky's a good... what am I going for here? He is a good manager. He's a game manager. He can use his legs and he's athletic. But they make plays happen. They use a lot of motion stuff going on. They have a lot going on and they're creative. So we need to outmatch them when it comes to coaching. Now let's take a look at Nick Foles. Because when it comes to the blitz, when he's getting blitzed, he's amazing. 81% completion rating. When it comes to the play action, also amazing, 77%. Here's the issue. The Bears don't blitz. And the Bears are great at stopping the play action. Second in the league, to be exact. So, yeah, that's going to be a problem. See, they run a similar defensive style to the Eagles when it comes to they don't blitz much, and they rely on their front four getting to the quarterback. And we know how effective that can be when those front four guys make it happen. So you look at Nick Foles on 3rd and 4th down. 79% completion rating. Yeah, pretty crazy. Pretty wild. And I think that we can create some sort of game plan with Nick Foles, with this offense, to beat that defense. And it starts with Darren Sproles, in my opinion. We want to get the football out. According to Jaws on 97.5 The Fanatic, Nick Foles averaging about 2.5 seconds to get the football out of his hands. We need to get the ball out and allow our playmakers to make plays with the football in their hands to take away pretty much time for that defensive line to get to Nick Foles. We can't have Nick Foles getting hit. We know about the bruised ribs. They know about the bruised ribs. We can't allow him to be getting hit. We need to get the football out of the hands of Nick Foles quickly, put it into Darren Sproles' hand. Maybe hit Golden Tate for a slant. Nelson Aguilar. We like to make plays happen, especially Nick Foles has been, but we got to make sure we're not holding on to the football too long. We know Nick Foles likes to get the ball out and let Alshon make a play. That's fine. I'm okay with that. We can't be having plays that are long and take a long time to develop. We can't have that. We need to get the football out very quickly. That is the way to beat a powerful defensive line. Honestly, kicking might come into a factor here. And you have Jake Elliott who misses some kicks, some extra points, but then he drains the big ones. On the other side, Cody Parkey, of all people. Yeah, we're talking Cody Parkey, the ex-Eagle. And he's been a mess this year, mentally. It could come down to a big kick. Kicking could be a big factor. How about Dungy talking on the phone today on sports radio here in Philadelphia? And he was discussing how the Eagles can win. The experience of Nick Foles and what this team went on last year can go really far. And that plays into the next factor of the experience, non-experience thing. And people want to downplay it or people want to play it to an aggressive level. I'm going to put it in a neutral thing. It can play a big-time factor. It can. Or not. I mean, at some point, experience or not, the guys just go out there and play. That's how I see it. You don't just forget how to play football. I know it's a different type of pressure, but when you're out there on the field, and I know this personally from being in playoffs when I played hockey and all that, you just go out there and play. I know there's a little bit more pressure. I know the heart beating's a little bit faster, and it is a different type of beast, but sometimes you just go out there and play. And you block out the noise, and you just go out there and ball. But I do think it could play a factor. I mean, Nick Foles came from a Super Bowl compared to Mitch Trubisky, who's never experienced this type of pressure. And the Bears, they haven't been in playoffs. They have a lot on the table. They're a 6-point favorite. They should destroy the Eagles. There's a lot of pressure on them. Can they handle it? And for them to not have much experience. I'm just counter-arguing here. I can see both sides. I really can. For the experience versus unexperienced thing. But when I do look at a Malcolm Jenkins, a Jason Kelce, I just feel good about how comfortable they are right now. It makes me feel great as a fan. Thinking to myself, I mean, they can do this. And they know they can. And that confidence is rubbing out on me, the fan. The biggest thing for me is, oh, by the way, when we were talking about Dungy and the experience thing, he said the best thing to do is to make Trubisky beat you. So stop the running game, which this defensive front can do, and this defense as a whole, which they can do, and make Mitch Trubisky and that creative offense beat you in other ways. Make Trubisky make the moves. Because he's the one with a ton of pressure on him. He's the high draft pick. Make him beat you. And I know it's easier said than done, all these things I'm saying, but I'm just, the recipe for success here for the Eagles, you got to win the trenches. And I always laugh at this. I always laugh at the fact that, well, no duh, bro. It's if you win the trenches, if your defense plays well, if your quarterback plays well, if you get the ball quick, of course you'd win. But it's the recipe for success for this game, understanding their defense, their strengths. When you look at our offensive line, they have to win the battle. Our defensive line needs to get pressure. I would say offensively, get the ball out quick. I think Darren Sproles is the X factor. And Alshon, because Alshon has a lot to prove to the whole Chicago fan base, especially for his remarks. Get the ball out quick. It's a winnable football game. It's a very winnable football game. And the way that the players feel, it's rubbing out on me. You look at the numbers. You look at how great Nick Foles is on 3rd and 4th down. Now, I can't counter in the blitz thing or the play action thing. Well, I could factor in the play action with the 77%, but I can't factor in the 81% on blitz because the Bears don't really blitz. But the play action should be interesting to see how that one plays out. I'm excited. I can't wait. I honestly, truly can't wait. Now that it's starting to creep in, right? It's Friday. We're getting closer. I kind of wish they played the Saturday game. But it's all right. What's wrong with Sunday afternoon, the Big Daddy? Let me know what you think down below on this one. Can we do it? We can do it. I'll see you guys next time.